Hello everyone, welcome back to the Sork Tower. I'm Broom Dude, giving you guys another budget deck profile. This deck's going to cost you about $30 to build, but you are going to smack people around at locals with this deck. This deck is surprisingly strong for the price tag that comes attached with it. And first and foremost, I just want to say we're almost at 100 subscribers, so thank you so much, guys. Make sure you guys are sharing this and telling your friends about the channel. I'd love to keep pushing out content for you guys. Without any further ado, let's get into the deck. First, we have 4 copies of Captain Hook and 4 copies of Smee, the Match Made in Heaven. These are just pretty standard for Pirates now. These cards are really powerful. They're going to trade with a lot of the weaker stuff early game and give you a bunch of early questing potential as well. Next up, we have 4 copies of Doc. This is a new card. This card is so powerful in this deck because one of the big issues Pirates had was draw power, and a lot of the times we had to play like some super lackluster cards like Queen of Hearts or Medallion Weights to be able to get a draw engine. This card makes it feel a lot stronger, being able to just draw 2 once your hand is empty, and then also we're going to be playing the location in tandem with it, which is just going to give us another pseudo removal package. For our 3 drops, we have 4 copies of Tuk Tuk. This is a card you could replace with the Jim Hawkins if you have them, or if you want to spend a little bit more money. The Jim Hawkins are really strong, but this card is also really powerful too, being able to move 2 characters to a location when you play it for free, and then also giving a character +2 power. In addition to that, this card does have evasive, so it is also arguably a better pick than Jim Hawkins for some players. Next up, MVP of the deck, 4 copies of John Silver. This is the boy. He's going to come down. Every location you have, he's going to get resist and quest for that much, plus the one that he already has. He's going to be questing anywhere between 6 to 7 consistently in this deck, bare minimum 5, so very powerful card. Another card from the new set that we're playing is 3 copies of Pete. Pete is just so good. It locks your opponent out of 1/3 of the game. You know, it's a super powerful card, really good into the Songs matchup, and it lets us preemptively plan around the Be Prepared. For the 4-drop characters, we are on 4 copies of Donald Duck. This card and Jolly Roger is a match made in heaven. Just being able to just have 2 characters out, or 3 characters even, and then playing Donald Duck on 4, moving it to the Jolly Roger, having it challenge something, and then questing for a bunch while also getting lore from your locations is just super strong. Like, this card is just, it really establishes you early. You can generally quest to 9 or 10 or even further than that by turn 4 because of this card in tandem with the Jolly Roger, so it's pretty powerful. Another card that gets us some extra lore is 2 copies of Super Goof. Super Goof is just going to be one of those cards that lets us play it, challenge, get 2 lore, and sometimes that's enough for the win. Like, this card in a top deck is just super powerful. Like, if we're at like 18 or even like 17 lore with a bunch of locations, this card can pretty much checkmate a game by itself. Onto the actions. We're not playing too many actions in this deck, but the ones we're playing are pretty impactful. We're playing 3 copies of Baboom. Diablo is still a threat for a deck like this. Like, yeah, we're not drawing a lot, but we also can't deal with Diablo, and our opponent being able to just get so much advantage out of it off of us is just, it's not fair to us, so we have to play cards like this. We're also on 2 copies of Smash. Cards like this just help take our opponent off tempo. Same thing with 4 copies of Brawl. These cards are just going to take Songs off tempo. They're going to be able to take Aggro off tempo, and that's just going to pretty much lock us in every single game we play. That's all we're really playing for actions. That's all we really need in a deck like this. So let's move on to the locations. So for our 1-drop locations, we're on 4 copies of the Bayou and 4 copies of the Jolly Roger. These are just the best 1-drops in these colors. Bayou's going to net us a lore every turn and then potentially help us filter our deck out. And then Jolly Roger is just MVP location in this deck. It does feel bad drawing multiples, but it only has 5 health, and things are challenging for quite a bit this format, so it's nice to have 4 copies of it, especially because we're on the Donald Ducks, because being able to play Donald Duck on 4, let's say we played like Hook, Smee, turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, played a John Silver, or played this turn 1, excuse me, or played another 2-drop turn 3, and just being able to challenge and get a bunch of lore off it is just super relevant. 2 copies of Thebes, 4 copies of Seven Dwarves Mine, and 4 copies of Snuggly Duckling are our 2-drop locations. Seven Dwarves Mine is actually insane. This card is so absurd. It overperformed in testing. Like, being able to just play Doc and then move it there and deal 2 damage, or even just moving a character there with, like, simply, like, with any of your regular ones just by using its regular cost and dealing 1 damage is just as good. Tuk Tuk moving a character there is really strong, because with the Tuk Tuk, let's say you had Captain Hook there, you're potentially dealing 8 damage to characters, which is pretty solid because you deal 2 with the mine, 3 with the hook, an additional 2 with the hook thanks to the Tuk Tuk. So that's pretty powerful. And then finally, we have 4 copies of RLS Legacy. This is just the MVP location in the deck. Again, you don't really want to see multiple, but since people are on such powerful challengers this set, I really enjoy this ratio for all the locations, honestly. So that's it for the deck. Let's go ahead and take one last look at it all together, and then we'll get to the closing statements. Here is the last deck profile all together, just so you guys can check it out. Make sure you guys get the list down. I'll also put the Dreamborn link in the description box down below. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys want to see more budget decks, put in the comments what you want me to brew next. I love brewing for you guys. Anyways, this is Broom Dude hopping off.